Yes. Yeah, get this next one on. We can text it. Let me hear this volume a little bit. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Street Savvy, the podcast. I'm Jay Works, the host with the most. We got a great show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got a powerful show. This show is crazy. We need to hear it, folks. Out of migrants in New York State taking over in New York and New York State, surrounding boroughs and cities and towns. Let's go, folks. Let's talk about it. You know, we got other stories today, too, as well. Your boy Donald Trump that came out and said some bull out of his mouth, like he always saying. He was at a rally in North Carolina, folks. He was at a rally in North Carolina, and you know what he said is it's a little bit too much light in here. It's almost blinding. It's almost darkness, allegedly. But I see my black people. What do you mean, man? What do you mean, Donald Trump? And then he said, quote, allegedly, I feel so connected to the black people because they indicted me several times for all these charges and blame stuff on me. Just like the black people. Just like the black people. So we feel some kind of connection because they always blaming them and they always blaming me. Yo, man, you out of your mind, Mr. Trump. You people who voted for this man, you hear what he's saying. And he also said, allegedly, the blame is Biden. Biden's racist. He's been around racist things and saying racist people for years. When I tell you, black people, black voters, you name it alike, mother and father, sisters and daughters and brothers, this man is among the most disrespectful, ignorant people in the world to think black voters, black peoples are fools. To vote for him and his ignorancy, I can't even get the words out my mouth. This the same man, allegedly, he wanted to burn the Central Park. He wanted to give him all life. He wanted to give him death penalty. He led a whole challenge on that. Whole campaign on the Central Park 6 and still ain't apologized for these guys being exonerated. It's the same guy was looking for Barack Obama's birth certificate. This the same guy wouldn't denounce the head of the Ku Klux Klans and other thoughts, either the white supremacist leaders. He said he's cool with the Russian president. He's cool with the North Korea president. This man he loves all dictators. He wants to be a dictator. Period. It ain't no ifs and buts about that. He loved what Putin is doing. He loved what Kim Jong-un was doing. He loved it. He loves it. Donald Trump is something else. Folks, In other news, of course, again, it's about the immigrants. It was a young woman speaking at a rally in Chicago, Illinois, black woman, and she was at the podium, and she paraphrased the movie Scarface. And the memes we have from Scarface, the words, the verbs and realities that we got from Scarface over the years of drug dealers alike and things they see alike. She said, but the most important thing in the movie was the most important thing. When they was asking Scarface about Cuba, about Fidel Castro, do you remember the words he said? I can't quote them all, but he said, Fidel Castro is letting people from the jails, the people from the slums of Cuba, he's pushing them out. They find refuge in America where they can reap havoc, allegedly, on American soil. And when American boats started finding and catching people out there in the waters from Miami to Cuba and turning them back around, it was a lot more than you thought. So they started jailing them right there. That famous up under the bridge. You see where Scarface at? The Dade County, Miami jail, the holding jail back in 1980. Think about that, folks, because it's happening right now. A lot of these countries, third world countries, China, North Koreans, Africans, Bosnians, healthy young boys and healthy men are flooding the U.S. borders. And just 3 weeks ago, a known terrorist threat who did 10 years or more, allegedly in jail, was stopped at our U.S. borders. And you know what he said to the person? I quote, he says, you must not be smart to not know who I am, but you might want to know who I am because soon you will. Soon you will. And he said that vaguely with vengeance. I seen the video. But yet he's on this soil. And yet nobody spoke up on it. Here in Syracuse, several hotels in the town of Salina and in the surrounding city of Syracuse have over 80 to 125 migrants staying at local hotels. They are families with small children, workers that work at Amazon, that want work, want to get apartments and transportation and veteran, disability, all types of crap. They're invading our space. Our way of life of living here in America, these migrants are not playing. Good or bad or evil and indifferent, they are not playing. They're not playing. In other news, folks, your boy Pete Diddy is in the news again. A producer by the name of Little Rob allegedly accuses Diddy of sexual assault. Allegedly accuses Diddy of sexual assault. And allegedly he's saying, he explained it, that Diddy will have parties and he will put drugs in people's drinks, underage people, allegedly. So this is my thing to these people who are coming out. Hear me out, folks. We all don't know if this is true or not true. We not here to defend no one or to shun no one. But if you people was there when Sean Puffy Combs or any one of these people that's been accused and we all trying to hang them in the streets, if y'all was there when this was going on, y'all more as guilty as he is or she, whoever's doing all this crazy stuff in the industry or the streets. You're coming out now and I don't respect it. And right now, blacks are coming out on blacks and trying to bury them. Oprah did it to Michael Jackson. People did it to O.J. Juice Simpson. People did it to Bill Cosby. Our black men and women are being persecuted in the streets of America by your own people before judge and jury. With this Diddy situation, they saying the feds is all over it. It's almost 200 and something pages of inquiry allegedly of what this guy allegedly put Pete Diddy did in his site and around him. Did he get them lawyers, bro? And if you the monster they say you are, they gonna hang you. If not, fight for your name, Pete Diddy. Fight for your name, brother. Period. If not. Okay, folks, let's get back to the topic of the day. Is the migrants are invaded our country and our cities? And is it gone too bad? We need to take over our cities back. So let's start off saying this, folks. Again, here in Syracuse, upstate New York, I found myself, and I'm not going to say the names of these hotels, in the town of Salina and in the city of Syracuse, almost 80 to 124 long-term guests, residents of migrants are living in these hotels. Amazon workers, medical workers, workers of all sorts, transportation workers. Yeah, migrants. Right here in Syracuse. And I had an encounter with a few men or two. No disrespect, no craziness, no entitlement, at least to my knowledge. I have noticed it more than ever since it's been more broadcasted on social media and as well as our news networks, NBC, Fox, MSNBC, you name it. And a lot of the podcasts, including myself. This thing with these migrants, folks, is something we need to pay attention. Them folks in Chicago, thank you, my producer. The folks in Chicago, folks, they are very steadfast in moving in on these migrants and getting them out of their city, getting them away from their way of life of living. And I tell you, it was one lady spoke today, and she blasted the mayor of Chicago. She said, you got these migrants thinking they're us. They want to get their people here. They want to fight for their people's rights to live in these buildings and drive these cars, parking out parking spaces. And you guys ain't doing a darn thing, you Democrats. But she said, look here. I'm a black woman and I work and I'm not a part of slavery. This is my country. This is our country. And we can't depend on y'all. We got to depend on we. And I totally agree with those words, folks. Listen, even down south, migrants are there to stay. And they've been a little more quieter down south. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, some parts of Florida. Black and brown, that's who I'm speaking to. The United States government is trying to block our vote and make sure the migrants have it and vote for them. Yes, they are. Republican and Democrats alike, especially Democrats. Republicans don't want them here. And some conservative Democrats welcome them here. Welcome the joyness of a migrant either A, learning the American way of life, of living, paying bills, paying dues, paying taxes, and voting for someone who don't give two shits about us, me or you, black or brown. And the migrants gonna see in a minute. They're gonna start to toss the migrants where they come from. They're gonna get aggressive with these migrants. And I salute the people down in Texas too. Down in Houston, down in El Paso, down in McCullen, by the border. We need to know as people, folks, as black and brown people, this is our country. And I'm gonna beg to differ with you. Let me give you something, something that I know for a fact that I feel in my heart. This is now the country of the land of the free, home of the brave, and the home of the slaves. Yes, we can all say that. Because with this migrant invasion in our private space, in our cities and towns and states and province, with the United States government fitting the bill, the mayor of New York just allegedly launched a $700 million lawsuit on the governor of Texas from sending the migrants to New York, dropping them off any place that says to go to. He said in the last 2 years, the bill has been hefty on New Yorkers in New York. This is Mayor Eric Adams. I normally don't say his name because some people's name ain't worth saying. And I was always taught, if you don't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing bad. Don't say nothing at all. And he's a black brother, so I got nothing negative to say. I just think the work has been sloppy. It's been messy. Folks, I done been around a half a century. Yes. And I have never seen anything like this besides for the Latinos and Puerto Ricans on the west side of Syracuse. Because when I was a kid, it was nothing but white folk and black folk on that west side. From Merrimack to Messina to Roland to Delaware, when the Latinos started coming over, they flooded that west side. And that's just the truth. And they've been good brothers and sisters since they've been coming over. I'm proud of my Latino brothers and sisters, especially the ones I know from Louisa. That's a part of Puerto Rico, a town in Puerto Rico. The projects. I love y'all, all my Puerto Ricans, man. I love y'all. In other news, inside New York, this past week, in Queens, a furniture owner, he owns a store in Queens. It was found 300 migrants. I quote, don't quote me on this, allegedly. No. 80 migrants living. He was charging them $300 a month. $300 a month he was charging them. And how they found out, a next door neighbor who owns property next door to his called him. She says, "There's been a lot of these scooters outside of my property more than often." Investigators went in there, INS, NYPD, and found massive beds, single beds, more than you could have, down in his basement of a furniture store. America, the crime rate has went up on folks that's migrants in the United States. Several of them, the last several years, I could say, has been really charged with a lot of heinous crime, from New York to Arizona to El Paso to New York to Florida. Guys are murdering people who's, they said, Juan Ortiz. I seen a case with a migrant named Juan Ortiz. Fled from certain places, killed the woman in another place. Things of that nature. So, folks, we got to take back what's ours. Damn the government, because they slow. They wanted them here. So you got to do something, folks. You got to protest, argue, stand up on your 10 feet, talk about it, believe in what's yours. Because your American government don't fail you, especially the Democrats. And in the Republican Party, this is shambles. Shambles. There's so many great numbers of disparity when it comes to key facts on the migrants in New York State and in America. Key facts. Yep. So I'm just going to say this. I'm going to end this like this. Even in other parts of the country, migrants in Maine to get taxpayers paying free rent, taxpaying dollars up in Maine. Migrants are getting the treatment, folks. They're getting the treatment. With me, you can't get jack shit from them. Right now, if I go downtown to public assistance in any city or state, they might arrest my black butt. They might have another thing coming. But if a migrant step in there, he get 9,000 food stamps, health care, a jobless apartment, a great sheltering, a mentor, all of that. But me, if I went down there, it'd be a problem. Okay, black and brown Americans. My last words to you guys tonight on this show, on this podcast, Street Savvy. Protect what's yours. Your family, your loved ones, your friends, your constituents, excuse me, and as well as your faith. Because your dignity and your pride is getting challenged every day. Stay strong, America. God bless.